We're in game 3 of Fearless now. So much is removed.
And it's DK that actually, I think with some of the first ones, to really value counterpick as you got deeper into Fearless.
So surprised by this, to be honest, but we'll see what they want to go with. I think blue side is very valuable if you can have the stronger winning bottom lane. I think a pick that I am super scared about for either side is the Vi. I think the Vi 100% has to be removed here in this first phase, but if you're KT Rolster, you still got to ban the Rumble. You know, you cannot let that one through. Pantheon.
Rumble, Pantheon's another big deal.
And then you probably, I think, let the Varus go and you ban Vi. Unless, you know, you think that Dplus are looking for something else, you have a good read and you're going to get it yourself, because BD is an insane Ahri player, as we've showcased. We were even watching again during the break and those highlights again. Ban the Bard, actually.
Well, the Bard ban on the KT side, I kind of feel like it's Dplus that really needs to ban Vi. Weirdly enough, because it's Lucid, right? Korea Vi player. But it's the Ahri Vi, like you mentioned, is
and they have red,
so scary in the hands of KT.
They don't have red, but they have the 1-2 punch of grabbing both of those if they want, if you get anything else. So then maybe they're angling for, you first pick Pantheon, we go for the Ahri Vi. Maybe that's the setup KT is looking for. And then if you don't, then we get Pantheon.
Oh, wow.
So they'll ban Pantheon themselves, Dplus.
Oh, they'll give them that option. That's kind of interesting that they do take that one away when they could have first picked it. Instead, not going to be the case.
Vi or Varus? Vi. I think this is the correct call. I think you absolutely just do not want either of these teams to have it. It makes the comp so much simpler to play this deep in Fearless.
It's exactly the same bans then from game number 2. And so we'll see what the evolution is as far as the first pick is concerned. Last time it was Annie. This time, let's see where they're going to go. As the fact that we haven't had any of these Lulu drafts yet, the Yunara type situations, it's really kind of nerve-wracking for what you might end up meeting, as the Varus is going to be the choice. Difficult to play a Yunara lane into it. Obviously, you do have a lot of poke in lane, but doesn't fill me with checkmate first pick type stuff.
What if you go Lulu Ambessa and you keep the Ambessa off flex? Lulu works well with it. You don't have to show your AD carry right now necessarily, because you already know it's the Varus. They'll grab the Yunara instead, though. And I think the Lulu, Lulu Varus is not an oppressive lane, but you got to get this here if you're going to get it, which is why I thought you get something else with the Lulu instead, but they want to wait and get more information before they lock in Cuzz's pick. And the Ambessa goes to the other side as a result. I think this might have been a bit of a whiff here from KT Rolster.
Could have been.
Hard to say yet. I mean, Ambessa's not doing well in the LCK, but I think this deep and Fearless with these setups and draft, I think it can be very strong, especially because they have 2 incredible Ambessa players.
Yeah, this is the thing. Siwoo is so good at this champion. I don't think Ambessa from the jungle has looked all that good this season, but from the top lane, certainly made things happen. So that Ambessa going to be locked away. Perfect has also really liked to pick up the Ambessa at the same time. That was when he first started to make a resurgence last year, was off the back of some Ambessa plays. Him and Doran really making their way towards Worlds, looking great on that champion.
Support is a big question mark. Do they just slam the Crank?
Ooh, the Crank? That'd be fun. ShowMaker is instead considering a Twisted Fate. And honestly,
love this. It's such a good pick here.
Yeah, and also running them around the map was working pretty well in game number 2. So
we've got so much CC setup here.
And so much wave clear as well.
If the gold card lands onto somebody, then the Varus follows up with chains. Then you have the Ambessa ult, and it's just so simple to lock down the Yunara. And because the Ambessa can go through all of the front line, the Yunara is never necessarily going to be safe, as
she might be with a Galio.
That would help quite a bit.
See whether that is what BDD is going to lock away.
It's pretty decent into the Twisted Fate.
Oh, wow.
Trundle.
Trundle is not the switch that I was expecting here for Cuzz, but will be locked in. It denies Siwoo locking in a tank instead, but they're not representing anything all that Trundleable right now. And with the fact that the Ambessa can go into the top lane means that you can pick something that's happy to play into the troll as well.
Yeah, this pick doesn't really hit for me right now. We'll see what else they have planned, though, as Trundle can be empowered quite well by the Lulu, but it's not the best. It's not the most mobile to set up wild growth engages or anything like that. Again, the Ambessa was the pick I thought they should have gotten instead early on, but banning the Nami away now, trying to make sure that this bottom lane has prio.
Yep.
And, I mean, it's really one of the only viable range supports left. I mean, unless we're going down into, like, the bucket of the Janas down there.
Well, we'll see.
Smash has a lot of experience playing alongside that, but
That is true. That is true. Reckless did really like himself some Janna play. But one last ban. Yeah, Nico could be the option, as that one hasn't been seen just yet.
Nico's the one that stands out to me here. But the Blitzcrank I talked about earlier was also looming as a potential threat because this comp has so much single target. Anything hits, you are just, it's a free kill.
Well, the Mel going to be taken away from BDD. So not going to have his chance on her this time.
BDD loves his Mel, and he also loves like scaling mid lane picks, but I don't know if it's going to work out this time. I think he's just going to be a facilitator with the Galio. Silas, though.
Interesting.
Has always been a classic response to the Twisted Fate.
Yeah, Silas would actually be really cool because you can then match if you pick up the Destiny from him. Certainly is pretty strong, but the Ahri is the pickup instead. And oftentimes I've said, oh, Ahri, lacking damage, blah, blah, blah. BDD is just different when it comes to playing this champion. He is so incredibly good. So that is going to be his call. Can be a difficult lane for the Twisted Fate.
Are we flipping Lucid onto a different pick here, and it's going to be the top lane Ambessa, or what's going to happen? This is when Dplus is going to reveal all.
Aphelios. Wow, Aphelios Thresh? Is that going to be the lock-in?
Okay, and it's blind top lane Varus.
Yeah.
This puts Perfect into a pretty challenging position because Varus wins a lot of lanes. Naafiri is fantastic. By the
It's top lane Trundle?
Well, the Naafiri I was thinking about in this draft earlier on, if they were going to run the Ahri, because the Vi was banned.
Wait, it's top lane Naafiri?
I guess so. It is fantastic in the Twisted Fate. It scales decently well if you can get out of the laning phase. And it is incredibly safe, works really well for grub fights. And because of the dogs, like the I guess just call them dogs, I don't know what their official term is, little Darkling doggies, eventually you kind of win trades against Varus long term. And Varus is very immobile, so the Trundle ganks can actually be quite strong there on the top side if they play through top side and try to win the lane through the Lulu on the bottom side and avoid hooks. It's a lot of ifs. This series, man, I knew that it was going to be interesting, but I just didn't know it was going to be epic. Like, I feel like this series has reached levels of epic. It has been absolutely cinematic. It has vastly overdone my expectations. I thought the best thing we could hope for was silly, and I think we got a little bit of that, and especially in both early games. But the series has kind of evolved into insane mind games. And, I mean, Trundle into Varus sounds like a horrible time. But Naafiri, I could kind of see it, especially because it's so good into Twisted Fate.
And I'm, like, trying to work out how you're going to be playing Naafiri in the top lane. Because I felt like, you know, it was jungle and then fringe mid lane. I've never seen it top. Looking forward to seeing how it's going to be piloted here by Perfect. All right, Dplus Kia fans, full voice right now is Perfect finds the first dagger and the second dagger. That's an electrocute.
Electrocute, ignite. He is going to be looking for aggressive trades constantly. Shu has the exhaust. He looks pretty familiar with this tech.
Yep.
And I think it makes a lot of sense. He'll obviously have the teleport later. They both will. It's perfect. Looking for another Q.
I mean, Shu he has to dodge all of the daggers and then you win. That's how it kind of goes, and then hit your piercing arrows, and then it'll be all right.
And if you can snipe the dogs like that, it is a huge win.
Yeah, Perfect needs to hit like more than 0. Did hit 2 at the beginning. We saw how dangerous that was. As Korea going to find the death sentence.
Still level 1 Aphelios, so Effort is happy to keep playing the game.
Yep.
Whew, this series is tense, man. I
don't really understand, like, both of these compositions are weird. And so who's got the one that's going to win? Like last game, it was fine because like I knew what KT's comp does. We've seen it so many times.
Lucid is setting up some vertical jungling here as well early on in this game, which I think was probably the game plan all along with the Varus pick that they picked up, knowing the Trundle situation. Feeling pretty good about his start here.
Yeah. And
he has vision on both the top side as well as this approach for Cuzz, so we'll see the Trundle coming down right now.
Well, this is going to be all about... I actually had a feeling that KT would try and play towards top side, and You can see Cuzz is moving up there, knows that now doesn't have very much of his top side left. And so can go towards the bottom side jungle to try and make something happen, but a level 3 gank for the Trundle could be real difficult times for Siwoo. And in he goes, doesn't quite find the kennel. Oh, it's so cute that he has the kennel skin and there's a dog in the top lane. That's really cute. That's great synergy. It's top debut. Yeah.
This should come as a surprise to no one.
Another death sentence going to connect here as Effort's lit on fire. Good flayback as well as the flash does get him out of there, but the flash forward, the moonshot not enough. And Smash just puts that flash on cooldown.
Yeah, and aiming is very healthy here and has the cleanse. They're not going to actually commit to a fight.
All right, there's the lantern. The flash play comes in. The Lulu did make it back home, but aiming is going to be forced back as well.
Yeah, he's going to be joining pretty soon, I think. Although
Korea has been just not afraid to press as many buttons as possible.
He is really pressing the buttons. The evolution of Perfect has just been so insane, Atlus. I mean, we were looking at this guy as one of the worst top players in LCK early on. He was a player who was known for playing 2 champions.
Yep.
Rumble and Udyr. One of which is constantly banned, and the other one was meta for a very brief period of time, and Perfect wasn't even amazing at it, but was able to be, you know, he got through some of those games that were pretty tough. There was that one game where he was, what, 0-5, and then still made an impact later on. But now he's a world finalist, and is pulling out picks like Naafiri, is smashing people on Yorg, is solo killing Doran, and something has changed in this player. It is absolutely, you know, for me, really, I don't know, mind-opening to see that sometimes players just don't reach their full potential until much later. And it's rare to see that in a competitive league like this.
Yeah, true. And also, like, it does feel like Perfect is finally settled. Like, one thing that you often saw on the player cam, especially when it came to Perfect, was a lot of nerves, right? A lot of shaking, like not being able to quite replicate the amount of impact that he had, obviously, off stage, on stage. And I mean, it takes a special kind of person to be able to do that, but it takes an even more special kind of person to be able to mitigate it and, like, develop enough in order to overcome it. And that is a very, very cool thing, is now the all-in from said Perfect is coming on forward. Flash out from Siwoo. He will be able to escape, but Perfect holds onto the flash and gets rid of the Varus.
Yeah, and we'll hold this wave as well. Perfect does not follow flash there. Don't think he would have been able to kill. So he has flash advantage for the future. Also, exhaust is down, which is arguably the most important part of all of this, because it means that he can continue to do this, and he's about to have his ultimate. So he can avoid the chains of corruption with his untargetable, and then ult Siwoo and all in him very soon. Siwoo also doesn't have teleport. And head back to the lane here. The freeze is going to be dropped.
All right, well,
denies as much as he can, has evened up the CS now until this wave crashes.
It is a big wave, and steel caps are going to be very, very valuable into this Naafiri. And so Siwoo going to put them to work. As does have that wave to deal with now. ShowMaker just looking for a blue card. We'll be throwing that one towards the wave. Right now, BDD with a bit of an advantage as far as CS, but obviously it's Twisted Fate, so he's got more money. Nice job. Connects here from BDD as well.
Not being the robot allegations.
Nope. Well, I mean, ShowMaker also hit the gold card.
True.
Nailed it. I've never seen one of them miss.
Same. Well, actually, I take it back. Been a few Naafiri W's and...
oh, no, but it hit. He had to go untargetable.
Sure.
You know, it still goes there. Just didn't do anything.
All right, this is an angle here for Korea and Smash for the all-in, but Cuzz is here.
Yeah, this is a bit of a scary one, if it does actually happen. As Smash makes his way out, he's got the Gravitum up and available. Gets the snare, there's the hook, as they get a bit of a look in at Cuzz.
Yeah, the damage output between this Lulu and Yunara is too high. Even though Lucid has level 6, he has actually a full level lead on Cuzz right now, who is just starved in the jungle. Committing to this with the Trundle nearby is pretty risky with those low health bars. He sticks around a little bit, but is not going to commit. Oh, I take it back.
Yeah, Korea just really wants to press buttons. As Lucid's making his way in, public execution onto the Lulu, who doesn't have the flash. A few seconds, and he would have been okay, but it's Smash that picks up first blood. A great start here for Dplus Kia.
Yeah, Dplus firing on all cylinders here in the bottom lane. And, you know, Career, when he went for that hook, I think they realized, like, something is not right. I think that Ambessa is definitely here. They already knew it moments before because they were sending Cuzz over and they wanted to cover, but then Cuzz just went back to clear his jungle because he needs to. He's so far behind. And sadly, with no flash on that Lulu for just a few more seconds, Career's got the Summoner's track. He's got his flash coming up just a few seconds later, right now as we speak, and he gets the hook to lead to the kill. So now Smash is also 400 gold up in this game. And Perfect, like, he has his ult, he has his Ignite coming back here, but you have to be so careful with how you judge this. You have to be able to dodge the chains of corruption. It's easier said than done, as Flandre was the last person to play this in LPL.
All right, so it's a bit of a thing over there. Playing up against Weibo. Pretty cute. Flandre has always been a bit of an eclectic player.
You know, it's
in the LPL.
It's a weird matchup in Varus. When Varus gets picked in the top lane, you got to think of something.
Yeah, and I think also, like, we've been seeing so many of these Varus bans. I imagine it's being experimented with a lot. We've been seeing more AD carries used on the top side of the map than we have in a really long time. And so I think this is what the scientists have discovered is one of the possible answers.
And it shows that Perfect is like a scholar, right? He's like, okay, I've seen this matchup in the LPL. I've studied it myself in solo queue. You know, probably has actually had some scrims with it as well. And he's like, okay, I see what people are doing with this. I'm going to practice this because this could happen to me. They could flex the Varus top, and I need to be ready for that. And he absolutely was, at least in terms of the pick.
Yeah, it looks like it's not played in solo queue all that often towards the top side of the map. But maybe my stats are a little bit off at the moment. That's all right. Cuzz not going to be contesting any grubs right now. As you can see, gold advantages across the board here for Dplus.
Yeah, and this is going to be triple grubs for a really strong competition.
Yeah, I was going to say, this is a TF comp. Yeah. You don't really want to give them triple grubs.
But they just don't really have a choice here, as ShowMaker's playing this laning phase pretty well. Has a lot of prio, as the Naafiri cannot look for the all-in just yet. Siwoo actually has his exhaust back, so that's a big problem for Perfect to try to make something happen there. And I think this lane, the timings for Perfect trying to snowball it are kind of gone. He's just going to have to join team fights and hope that he can get accelerated elsewhere. And he won't have teleport, obviously, for a really long time, so he's kind of trapped in this bad lane. Kind of like he was in the previous game on the Yorick, where a lot of resources were given and he just had to huddle under the turret. It's going to be the same story here for a while. We know he blossomed into a huge Yorick in Game 2 and was able to make a massive impact. I'm not necessarily sure that that's going to be the same case here.
Yeah, I feel like Naafiri might be a slightly different champion, although it does have minions. So I guess there's that, you know, the little hot dogs and ghouls. I mean, it's the same thing.
Yeah, he
pretty sure.
Will struggle to do consistent damage, but can be a big assassin threat alongside BDD here. The Trundle can help set it up. Obviously, Polymorph makes it easier for BDD to hit charms. Smash does not have Cleanse, because he wanted to crush this lane. And so, you know, if a charm hits him, he's in trouble a lot of the time. Obviously, Lantern can do wonders for you.
Yep, does also want to have Mikhail's on career as quickly as possible. Might be able to get one, but right now you can see putting that pickaxe and Serrated Dirk to work here, as aiming is taking a fair bit, as Lantern is offered. Arcabruin comes on through as aiming presses his R button just before this dragon gets started by KT.
I think they have too much control. ShowMaker's just going to look for plates.
Well, Chains of Corruption is thrown out, and in goes Perfect. Teleport from ShowMaker, though, and the exhaust is down. Siwoo is going to be the one to lock down the second kill here for DK. This time they don't both die to the turret, and so we're going to say that that one's a positive here for DK, but KT do lock down the Drake.
Yeah, this is a really good call from Dplus. ShowMaker was on the turret and decided, okay, we're going to go for a dive here. I think Perfect realized very quickly what was going on. He's like, okay, ShowMaker's going to come. I need to be able to come over here and deal with this, but is not able to, with the Ambessa also showing up there, deal with the dive. So he does fall, and the aggro is juggled correctly. Look at where ShowMaker is. He drops, you know, he pushes that whole wave in, then drops the aggro on the turret, comes over here. Perfect goes for the W early, but then still gets stunned. ShowMaker holds. Very calm play here. Lucid no longer has turret aggro. BD is unable to clear the wave in time to turn that into a play.
Yep, had a great charm onto Lucid, but wasn't able to make anything of it. So KT still killless so far in this game, 2,500 gold behind.
Yeah, this is, I feel like the news does not get better for a while here for KT in this draft.
Well, this is the problem. A draft like this from DK, it almost doesn't matter what your opposition comp is. It only matters whether you're ahead. Because TF in a side lane can just be so incredibly annoying.
And then
you're spending the entire game just pulling them around the map. And they were already doing it in the last game with that weird draft that they had there. Not that this is any less weird, but they're still doing it. So
well, it's definitely ShowMaker, I think, looking at last game and saying, Listen, you know, this is absolutely our win in terms of the macro, in terms of the map reads. We are outplaying them hard. Give me my world skin Twisted Fate.
Give me my favorite champ.
And I will do it again. And unfortunately, this Trundle pick feels like it's really holding KT back.
It was a weird choice. I feel like they were hovering something that made a lot of sense. Like the Galio was a consideration. They were thinking about locking down something for BDD. And then they moved to this Trundle, which it is one of those picks that can be very strong, but it's more of an answer rather than the statement, you know?
It really is. It almost always is. I mean, there was a time where we had Trundle first picks in the LCK, and he was a little bit overtuned and was doing really well, and we were seeing tanks every game.
Yeah, it's because you had to play a tank support, right?
Exactly. So, like, that was different, and this is something that doesn't fully make sense to me. Maybe there was a big pivot in the draft, but Smash has his collector. You know, the Kraken Slayer is done here for aiming as well. We're looking at, you know, a team fight up here on Herald in 2 minutes' time that I think KT really need to win to get the momentum back in this game, but I just don't know how they're going to do that.
Well, Siwoo lining up some of those Blight stacks, and you can see Perfect really does not want those procced.
No.
And we'll just go on target, but that has a long cooldown, though. And ShowMaker, Destiny up and available once again, and he just used it, and that means he's dead. Beautiful play. I think ShowMaker must have said, like, hey, wait, let me know when he uses his untargetability, and then we kill him. And that is precisely what they did.
That's why the Naafiri is so good into Twisted Fate and is often picked in the jungle when Twisted Fate is out. Like, Raptor has schooled everyone on this, Pioshik has schooled everyone on this, but
the thing is, like, when you're in lane, you have to use it to avoid trades, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's one of your lane abilities, but it doesn't give you any defensive tools when it's on cooldown, and he didn't have flash. So ShowMaker's just like, all right, I'm here for another hot dog. And he delivers it to Siwoo, who, by the way, he was 1,200 gold ahead before that kill. He's now 1,800 gold ahead. He has almost the whole turret. I think this draft has kind of failed here for KT Rolster, and I think that without aiming, having the Yunara equivalent of a Zeri moment here in a big upcoming team fight, I just don't know if they ever catch up. I mean, Ardent Sensor's picked up here, but he doesn't have a traditional front line in this draft. He has a Trundle and an Naafiri, and hopefully BDD charms somebody and he gets the first kill, then maybe he could snowball a team fight, but there's so many threats. Like, he could get gold carded, he could get hooked. One of those things can lead into the other, into the Ambessa ultimate. Smash?
Well, he's not going to be able to click the Lantern, as Smash has to get out of there, aiming flashes after him. Moonlight Vigil goes down. The hook connects from Korea, but he doesn't follow up as Lucid turns up, and Cuzz is going to get smoked. They still get the ulti out as Lucid dives forward. I just don't know whether he really wanted to. The death sentence isn't that this time. His career is going to miss. Has to flash. No one's dead.
Wow.
What the heck just happened?
Incredible play from aiming there in that situation, but career, man, I was not familiar with his Thresh game. And I feel like I should have been with how I am watching this unfold thus far. Imagine if he had Blitzcrank.
Yeah.
And even worse with how the hook accuracy is looking so far. ShowMaker does not have ult here, but maybe aiming overextends.
He does have flash. Oh, he doesn't press the button. Just going to come down here and deal with this minion wave. Looks like Smash will pick up shop in mid as that wave is crashing on forward. I think Korea will be able to pick that one up.
He picked up 2 assists early on, but he obviously has his passive, so he's generated a massive lead himself, which sometimes is a fake lead, but in this game when he's got his Rod of Ages online this quickly and the Lich Bane is coming soon, he's also stacked 2 Dark Seals, and that can obviously snowball. I think this game is like potentially about to blow for Dplus. Like, they're about to become so unstoppable. Like, KT can't do anything. What they did in that last fight was impressive with the spacing from aiming there. He maximized damage through his ult and was able to push those melees away. The Trundle Wild Growth combo really helped them out, but I don't know if KT get many more of those even fights if things continue this way. They need to make a play, and they just don't have the playmaking champions. I mean, BDD's on Ahri, but who does he charm? Who does he go in on?
Whoa, the flash gold card comes on through as, oh, effort! Get you a support like effort, everyone! Flashes in front of aiming and just dies.
Yeah, well, I mean, aiming is going to try to see what he can get off of that wave. I don't know if he gets much.
Yeah, I don't know whether it's even worth it. Maybe just letting aiming die would have been fine. As, all right, in goes the Naafiri. Call of the Pack comes on through as now the rest of KT are going to turn up. Flash is available here for Siwoo, and ShowMaker turns up to defend his top laner. Lucid's here as well, and so Siwoo goes unpunished.
Siwoo going to be totally fine here, just kind of walks off, doesn't even have to exhaust.
Yeah, and Perfect is just kind of falling further and further behind.
Yeah, he and this Ahri in the mid lane are just not necessarily ever going to make an impact in this game because they have expiration dates. Aiming is the one who's going to get fresher as the game goes on. He's going to be the one who's a bigger problem to deal with. But there are just so many tools to deal with him. Whereas even if you kill Smash, for example, you know, if you get on top of him with this Naafiri Ahri, you got to deal with the Varus. You know, you got to deal with the Twisted Fate. As Aiming here gets stunned, Effort flashes to block the hook he knows is coming.
Oh, it's that Alistair video from 2010, man.
Okay.
As Effort.
스페 노플. 너 살아 그냥 나 해줄게.
Yeah, he was like, get out.
Wow, that was actually pretty incredible, but it's cute and all, but it doesn't really change the story, unfortunately.
And I think that Max was there like, oh man, it would have been really cool if we had killed the AD carry. As, all right, there's the exhaust down, flashes over Cuzz to get over towards Lucid, but Aiming comes in to shut down this Varus. ShowMaker is now in amongst everyone and should be taken out. BDD's on the board now as well, as in the meantime, Smash is just ripping things to shreds in the mid lane.
Is he going to get out, though? I think he should probably leave. They're looking for a lantern. Yeah.
He should be able to take that if he does want to get out, but Aiming is going to be able to answer. DK, hold on to this 4,000 gold lead. As Perfect still wishes that he could hit a few more of these daggers, but it's okay.
It definitely felt like a win that KT shouldn't have been able to get that kill onto ShowMaker, but ultimately it puts a small dent in the gold graph, but I don't know if it's really going to change the overall story yet, but it's a big win. And Aiming now has a second item.
And BDD being on the board as well, as far as money is concerned, is a big deal. He has his second item as well.
Yeah, his 2-item spike versus Lichbane plus 6 stacks of Rod of Ages for ShowMaker. Feeling pretty good for BDD to make plays like what we saw here. As, you know, Trundle can help set up the Ahri, gives you a little bit less space here. This was actually really well played by BDD. And then ShowMaker just comes in because he's expecting Lucid is going to have some sort of follow-up here, but he does not.
Yeah.
And so, unfortunately, he just is a donation.
And now everyone was there for KT as well.
And now they're trying to siege here. And, you know, I just don't think they really can right now. They want to get Aiming more money if they can. They know he's really strong at team fighting at this moment in time, and they have a lot of upfront damage, and CC here with this Ahri pick to potentially get him set up to get enough kills to get huge early, because they know that if the later this game goes, it's going to be so much tougher to set up those picks, but Dplus are playing respectfully. Well, Lucid, maybe he's not.
Lucid is going to need to get on over towards that lantern, does do so, as the Kennel not exactly in the right position. Is Perfect comes back down to face off against Siwoo, who is very scary. Dusk and Dawn is going to be coming in as the second item after that Hex Plate. And this Varus, sort of hybrid, wacky auto attack AP Varus, just really does a whole bunch of damage. And that second item is now complete.
Yeah, he got set in the top lane because of this item. And it was nerfed in part because of him as well, but he's still very relevant, still does huge damage. And KT are going to have to, for now, bide their time. Now, they do have 2 dragons. And Mountain, you know, it feels like it's not amazing for either team, but it would really help the kind of battle power of this Yunara Ahri here for KT.
Yeah, and getting tankier is going to be very good for both compositions, but probably best, like, KT just kind of win no matter what, because Cuzz will become massive with the extra stats he can subjugate from his opposition.
He also gets, you know, a lot from Wild Growth, as we saw already several times this game. You know, he is a real threat that can allow the Yunara, like, he kind of becomes a tank temporarily to allow the Yunara to do all that damage if the CC is down. And Aiming did take cleanse, and because of that, you know, it's a faster Ardent Sensor here for Effort.
Oh, Lucid lurking here, but Cuzz is down here as well as Effort.
It's definitely the pressure point on the map right now. Everyone's grouped. Dragon in 12 seconds.
Yeah, ShowMaker coming on over. They want to deny this soul point. Siwoo is going to be the target as Aiming turns up just to wipe out the wave.
Siwoo needs to be very careful. He has no flash. His exhaust is coming up soon, but isn't ready yet. I just play through range.
It's a very difficult composition to play for objectives, right? DK really want to be splitting the map and forcing little skirmishes, things like this. But now playing the 5v5 is going to be a tough one as ShowMaker looking to try and make it awkward as BDD is rotating over.
Herald.
Sid diving on in. The Herald is going to come down. Maybe that's the front line that they require. As Cuzz not going to be able to get the smite. Now Lucid diving on forward is now Perfect in trouble. Calls the pack. But I think he's still going to be in trouble. Korea looking for a little bit of an engage angle as Shelly might be able to get a knock-up, but instead he just bonks her head against the wall, finds the death sentence into Cuzz though! And he's going to get wiped out. Smash does so much DPS, however, Moonlight Vigil just barely connects! And Lucid is there with the follow-up! My goodness, DK!
What a god-tier ultimate there from Lucid. Absolutely insane. The Moonlight Vigil coming through as well. And it's the Herald that causes so many problems for KT. They're trying to burst it down after they lose the Dragon to make sure that it does not give them grief in the upcoming skirmish, and it absolutely does. As, watch, the Herald gets dropped here, and they're like, okay, well, we don't get Dragon, let's try to burst this down and kite away. BD never really gets access to the fight, and Career is able to board the Herald here at range. And then BD is pushed away by ShowMaker, and as he gets out here, Cuzz is caught by the hook. Career is having the series of his life, man.
I mean, and the Pike was basically useless. How do you go from that Pike game to this level of Thresh?
His early game was okay, you know.
Oh yeah, I mean,
it was a 40-minute game.
He did some things, but it was otherwise pretty forgettable. But this is not. This is so good out of this guy.
He is really controlling this entire game, and it's a 6,000 gold lead. They get the first Dragon,
and they got a Baron.
Yeah, KT are now going to kind of struggle to defend these turrets. You know, there's a lot of money standing on the map here. Siwoo is attacked.
Yeah, Chains of Corruption is going to connect onto aiming, but he also manages to find that Arc of Ruin. Doggos get mad, but they are not going to be able to get their mark. As out goes Siwoo. They do get the flash of the Varus. Certainly a huge deal here, as the rest of DK were rotating up. And playing for sides is certainly something that they want to do, but KT, if they can actually manage to get a few of these picks, especially with some flashes now down.
If this turret was lower on health, they would actually look like a real threat here, but because it's at half, they don't have a Herald, they can't even really proc that crystalline overgrowth, and they're going to have to walk away. This comp dives incredibly well with an Naafiri Ahri, even with the Trundle pillar helping out substantially, but they just don't have the ability to go through. Siwoo's crazy!
Yeah, what is this? He's 1 versus 5 right now. The Wild Growth to try and hold him in place. He survives for such a long time as finally Perfect is able to take him down, and now ShowMaker is going to pay for his sins as well. Well, and he had a lot of gusto. I like that. Buy some time for Smash,
like
I guess.
Last time, it was the same thing where ShowMaker goes in and dies, and Smash is like, all right, well, I'm going to get this turret, and I've got a Thresh to make sure I get out. So he's going to get an inner.
Well, if they don't look at the mid lane, it can't hurt them.
KT are going to get 2, like you're alluding to here. As well, at least they're going to try to get 2. They've got a lot of doggos here. They almost have another wave comes through, but they're going to back away. They do not want to get ulted by Lucid. It's a lot of gold swing here for KT.
Ah, the old, I'm going to stop his back, don't worry. And
it'll be
1,000 people turn
up. It'll be fine. It's not a dive comp. I have flash. Oh, wait, it is dive comp. I don't have flash. Then ShowMaker is just trying to do his due diligence here, and he is, once again, just kind of comes out of the Destiny gate, and he's like, wait, everything's on fire.
Yeah, a little bit. But it's still a 5,000 gold lead here for DK. They still have a lot of control, and a few Barons still left up and available. But the Rebel Baron power play is very small.
I don't think this means that much yet, but 1 or 2 more of these types of picks, and then, you know, it's an Ahri that's a little bit out of control, and the Yunara is online. And so that shouldn't happen. That can't happen if you're a Dplus fan. If you're Dplus in this game, you just need to be a little bit more careful about how you approach these setups. You don't need to greed that hard for a backstop. In this situation, you're already so far ahead.
The thing is that is on my mind, and has been on my mind for almost this whole game, is, like, what is it? Is it, like, Kitchen Nightmares or MasterChef? You know, as far as, like, these comps are definitely quite different. Obviously, we did see Flandre play the Naafiri already on the top side of the map, but it's new for us here in the LCK.
I think, unfortunately, with this Trundle, the Naafiri pick is really... It's not hitting for me. I think there's a lot of ways it could work. And
it wasn't hitting in lane either.
No. And I think if the Trundle is playing into any type of tank of any sort, then it works a lot better. I mean, Ambessa, you can get some good stats from that, but it's not, doesn't feel like it's super high value. I'm kind of leaning towards Breath of the Wild mistake cooking here. You can still eat it, but...
Yeah. It's dubious.
Yes.
Let's just say that. All right, well, let's see how it does work out, as right now I have no idea who's going to win this game. There is a bunch of standing money on the map here for KT to pick up.
I think, like, I look at this and I go, if you play perfectly, KT, there's no way if both teams play perfectly from here, there's no way KT could ever win. But I'm not seeing perfect play out of anyone except perfect, and I don't mean that he has no mistakes.
Yeah.
Dplus have made a few, and actually now they've let Prio go away. And once again, like you said, they don't want a team fight necessarily with this.
I thought you were going to say that they'd had their share of sand kicked in their face, but you didn't follow it up. That's okay, though. All right, Soul Point now on the cards for KT as Lucid gets into this banana brush. Death Sentence does go wide as Lucid gets in there on top of Cuzz. Oh, the Wild Growth on Perfect is so good as they take down Smash. And now KT may have found their team fight. Siwoo looking to make his way in as Lucid somehow manages to get out. Chains of Corruption connects onto Effort, who McHale's himself to get on out of there. And the Dragon is now forgotten as they look to chase down DK as they DK tries to make an exit via the KT base, which is not really working out. Lucid will demonstrate some release date here with Ambessa, but that's 3 on the floor, and KT just straight up destroy the team fight.
I guess Gordon Ramsay gave him an extra life with this one.
Maybe they got called back in the next season or something like that.
This,
maybe your ideas were just a little bit too forward.
Watch this doggo go up twice, okay? Look at this. Goes up, and then goes up a second time because they can't target him. They get on top of the Aphelios, instantly delete him. ShowMaker's zone down the other side. He gets the reset, gets on top, and still has Wild Growth on him, by the way. And Siwoo over here on the other side is trying to impact this, but he's a Varus, and there are just too many bad guys. And now, KT in a pretty commanding position in this game, almost what felt like with a snap of your fingers. And that Naafiri engage was phenomenal. It was not something I thought we were going to be seeing too much of this game because Perfect was just so far behind. I thought, okay, he's just never really going to be able to get in there. They're not going to be the he's not going to be the Wild Growth target. It's just going to be defensively onto aiming to try to let him go through, or maybe onto Cuzz if he gets up into the thick of things. But yeah, this is something KT has shown us already before with the Nocturne, right? The Nocturne Lulu was kind of their thing. They smashed T1 with it early on in week 1.
Yeah.
And this feels very similar in terms of execution.
They're making it work. And I didn't know that Naafiri was picked for the team fight value. I thought it was kind of picked as an answer to this Varus, but that is not actually the case.
I think both can necessarily true. Like it ends up being utilized this way. I don't know if that was always the plan, but they made it look like the plan in that last fight as Perfect and Effort pull it off. The confidence that KT play with here, down 5,000 gold, put it down to 3K here.
Yeah, this is anyone's game now,
They
is what it feels like.
are kind of getting run around the map a little bit by ShowMaker and Dplus Kia, which was a big problem in game 2, but team fighting good. If they can get Prio on objectives and keep playing like that, sky's the limit, like you said. Looks like maybe they could actually upset here, despite the deficits, despite the early game struggles.
Well, Cuzz may have overextended, finds a kennel for ShowMaker, as Glitterlands does go a little bit wide, but ShowMaker level 17 right now, with his Rod of Ages helping him out in that department. Has Rapid Fire Cannon now complete. Wants to build towards probably a Death Cap coming in next, unless he wants to play it a bit more defensive with the Zhonya's, but I would have assumed the Arm Guard would have come in first if that was the case. It's all right. Smash. They just get dove on here as once again the doggo comes forward. He takes the lantern, but Smash may just die, and there's a Wild Growth to make sure that Perfect stays alive. Aiming, collects the double. Lucid might be the triple, but it's Cuzz that chomps down on his opposition as Siwoo is just flashing for the wave to try and wipe it out as Perfect is now able to get on top of ShowMaker as well. I didn't know. It's Naafiri's picked for her late game power. Yeah, that's obviously what it is.
I'm actually mind blown that this is happening, and it's happening now twice in a row. Like, watch this fight here. Smash is like actually not in a bad spot. He's got a Thresh, okay? Career's like, yep, all right, I've seen this before. But he takes so much damage, and then the Wild Growth onto Cuzz over the wall. BDD here for the follow-up, and she was just so late to the fight.
And the charm out of BDD also gorgeous at the end there.
It's just like, instantly it's over. GG, bye-bye. Who cares about your win cons? Who cares about your side lanes? I'm up in your face. I am actually kind of floored that this is working. I thought this game was done a while ago. I thought Dplus's comp is brilliant from the lead they had, and then suddenly team fights happen, Wild Growths happen, and everything changes. I mean, this is a swing of 7,000 gold in this game.
Yeah.
And it will be more as they start to get these outer turrets on the map.
So that first outer does go down on the top side as far as this Baron play is concerned. It's up to 1,500 so far, as Siwoo in this side lane is trying to do what he can. But this is the problem, right? I mean, Siwoo is the last gold lead left, and aiming is so big. 4-0 and 6 on this Yunara. And I don't know what DK are going to be able to do to try and answer this, but it's not team fighting. That's just not what this comp is good at.
I think they have to use their CC to kill him, but the problem is they're not starting the fight.
Yep.
It's KT.
Perfect's going in once again. Does get out of there, though, as we can see. The rest of DK do turn up.
He has a QSS now as well, so he can kind of on command use his W the way he wants to set these fights up with Wild Growth. Effort has Wild Growth back available. Dplus need to be careful.
Yeah, KT also need to be careful. DK have a lot of damage with Smash and Siwoo, and Siwoo does get over here. ShowMaker can turn up as well. Destiny and Gate both up. And if KT ever want to run away, it gets very difficult if you are sieging the TF.
Oh, perfect with the sidestep here. They're playing so slow, so methodical.
And also, how are you supposed to ever hit a hook onto Naafiri, right? Yeah. There's just doggos everywhere. That's all right. BDD looks for the angle onto Siwoo, does not find it. Well, this time.
Baron is really opening up the map here for KT quite substantially.
Okay, Perfect looking for it. Oh, Lucid. He's like, does he see me? The answer is no, actually. He was just looking for an angle.
BDD's ult on cooldown now.
Yep. Not for very long, though.
Control wards. And we're grouped up 10 seconds until Mountain Soul here for KT.
Oh, and ShowMaker did decide to go for the arm guard, so that will help him be a little bit more safe. As Siwoo with his Zhonya's is able to go into stasis, but that is a big cooldown. Not available for the next fight. This is Mountain Soul. Up for KT.
All eyes on Perfect. Smash has to be so careful his positioning, but I mean, it's targeted his ultimate, and when that Wild Growth hits, he dies. TP, or rather Destiny.
Yeah, goes in onto BDD. ShowMaker holds onto the gold card. He's able to throw it down there as Lucid gets on over the wall. Perfect! Looks to try and get in on top of them once again as the charm connects onto ShowMaker, but this time he's going to be okay. Lucid coming on down. Can he stop this Drake from being taken by Cuzz? And he is. Siwoo now going to get turned up by Aiming, though, who has so much money and so much damage. Cuzz gets the Wild Growth this time and flashes on top of Smash, but he does have to get himself out of the way as DK look to regain some control. My God, where did the Lulu go? BDD now in trouble. He does manage to take down one on his way out as Aiming is looking to kite as best he can. And the smite onto Cuzz is there. ShowMaker, he knows he has the rapid fire cannon now available. And the rest of KT are trying to run away. This is still so dangerous for both of these teams as Aiming finds a minion wave and will be able to take that one down, but they deny the soul, and that's the big deal.
I still don't even have words for this game. Like, Dplus come back in, the smite is good, they end up pushing Perfect. Perfect is on the edge here trying to punish ShowMaker from coming through. BDD has to go golden instantly here, and look at this ult from Perfect. It's on the Smash, but there's just not enough damage, and unfortunately, Effort's not in position to Wild Growth and Naafiri this time, and that may have actually worked out in KT's favor because he's able to do it on the Cuzz here after the smite comes through here from Lucid. Aiming deletes the Varus, and then boom, double knock up here. Lucid's forced away. So much of the damage is gone here for the side of Dplus.
Oh,
that ultimate
goes wide.
Yeah, is so huge here. And look at that damage coming through. Imagine if that Moonlight Vigil hits. Aiming has to back away. BDD with his last
absolute heroism to kill Smash there.
I don't even feel like I could say words to do justice of what both of these teams are doing here. And this 1-in-4 Twisted Fate right now, you know, is able to do so much if they can find the angles. But Mikhail's W available, obviously, for Naafiri a lot of the time. He has QSS, and the Yunara has Cleanse. It's just not really hitting in team fights, unfortunately, the way that ShowMaker wanted it to. And they had so much control of this game, but once they lost it, KT have had so many potential ins, and they're looking for another Wild Growth combo here.
Yeah, Aiming level 17 now. And just needs to finish off his Mercurial Scimitar, and he will have full build. Pretty close here for Smash, but does have one more item slot to fill. The Aphelios is very scary.
Have really had struggles breaking the base in this series. But they are waiting for this Baron to spawn. They're going to maintain control of the mid lane. BDD actually dropping top wave to come over here.
Yeah, Siwoo is going to be able to walk up towards the top lane, but was just hoping to get some vision of everyone here in the jungle. He does manage to do so with the help of ShowMaker's Destiny. That is now a decent cooldown that is away as now Perfect goes in one more time.
Effort wasn't here, though. That was a pretty bizarre choice.
Yeah, finally Effort will turn up. So no ulti here for Perfect for the next little while. That's a big deal. That gives DK the confidence to push out this mid wave and get control around the Baron.
I don't think Dplus knew Effort wasn't there, so now they just gave up Baron control to Dplus pretty easily. Siwoo also on this flank, but is seen on a ward.
Yeah, no way to clear that one out. So DK, he should be able to slink back towards the Baron. BDD looking for a little bit of an angle here as the flash hook from Korea is not going to connect. And now BDD dashing forward, looking for ShowMaker. He gets cleansed. And will be able to take the lantern if he wants to make his way back towards his teammates. As Siwoo lurking on a flank angle as well, but Perfect wants to dive in on top of ShowMaker. He has the Zhonya's. He just flashes out of the way instead. Still, KT have all 5 members here. And this Naafiri ultimate is back up again.
Okay, ShowMaker is so fortunate he had Unsealed Cleanse there, is able to escape, and will be able to TP back in if he can complete this back, and he does.
Oh, okay, Death Sentence. Barely going to go wide.
This is the game-deciding fight, very likely.
Teleport comes forward from ShowMaker. The rest of the team are there to defend.
Perfect.
Starting this is absolutely crazy, but a teleport from BDD will bring him back in with full health. Cuzz wanting to walk his way forward, but he is a Trundle. Getting into the pit is so hard, and this Baron is just gone. Siwoo has to flash to get out of the way of aiming, but he's unable to kill Siwoo and lands a lot of damage. Now Perfect dives in on top of Smash, but he takes a Lantern to get towards the rest of the team. The public execution could have been the end of the game, but it does not land, and BDD executes the Varus. And, oh, okay, Perfect is going to survive for now. ShowMaker knows in an extended trade he's not going to win out on that one, but DK get the Baron.
They couldn't link together Perfect's ult and Effort's Wild Growth. Effort actually doesn't Wild Growth the fight because he can't get access. Look at the setup here for Dplus. It looks like a risky Baron, but they're able to track the Naafiri's on the off angle here, and BDD is late to the fight, so they hold the Baron aggro. BDD shows up late. Siwoo ends up sacrificing a lot of his health bar here to make this happen, but look, when Perfect goes in, Effort just cannot close the gap. He's dealing with Lucid. He's dealing with that smash damage. This Lulu is just so squishy. Cannot actually set this up. Now BDD ends up getting that kill, finishes off Siwoo, who sacrificed all of his health to deny any sort of flanks from the left side there. Now they're trying to turn this into something in that 15-second interim before Siwoo respawns, but I just don't think they can get it now. 5 seconds on Dragon, though.
Yeah, exactly. This is just gone. That is Mountain Soul. Over to KT. Yeah, they're just never going to get there.
Yeah, they just cannot. They had to back. Their health bars were too low, and the timing of this works in KT's favor, so this is going to be a lot of extra stats here for all of these champions. We talked about how powerful it would be for either team, and KT are the ones who lock it down in the end.
Yeah, you can see a ping on the enemy Nexus turret. Love that. That's going to be coming on forward here. I don't know whether that is a realistic goal right now, as Lucid has to dash his way out of there. Does have a few of those in his hands, but he's going to have to flash as well. Takes the Lantern. The mobility kind of ludicrous as now ShowMaker getting turned on by BDD. The exhaust comes on through here as well as the pillar is not quite enough, but BDD finds the charm, of course he does, and it's aiming that picks up the kill onto the Twisted Fate. The rest of DK trying to get these waves pushed out, and all of them have been very pushed out.
Yeah, I don't know if that's worth actually flashing 2 flashes to kill ShowMaker. The pillar doesn't land. BDD has to flash as well. And they end up just losing a turret and losing bottom side control of the wave as well. I get it, you want to get the punish here, but it just does not ultimately really feel worth it, as Lucid is the one who's initially caught, but he flashes away, and then the Lantern is there, so BDD shifts his focus because he wants to make value out of this ultimate. And then watch this Cuzz, oops, fail flash, pillar misses. BDD is here, so 2 flashes expended. They get ShowMaker, but he'll be back on the map in 20 seconds, and Baron is still in their hands. Now, what can KT get done in the next 15 seconds? Maybe if they proc that Crystalline Overgrowth, they could start to threaten this inhibitor, but easier said than done.
Yeah, they will be able to take down this turret, though, very quickly.
10 seconds, and they have enough damage. They're actually going to get this. That's massive. I didn't think they were going to actually be able to get that done, but we are 40 minutes into this game, and aiming is full build.
Yeah, if aiming looks at stuff, it kind of explodes. So
My heart has kind of exploded throughout this series. I don't even know, like, one way or the other, I'm going to be happy with the result because this has been one of the best series we've seen this year, but I feel it's chaotic.
Yeah, I feel at the moment, I feel like KT has a lot of control because Mountain Soul is such a big deal.
It's permanent.
DK, if their composition is going to win, they need to blow up targets, and all of them just became a whole lot more tanky. And Cuzz is going to be a real tank as he keeps building these items. Right now he's a Bandle Piper.
Yeah.
But as he gets more and more, Thornmail might be on the way, right? He's got Randuin's already.
I am just
level 20 Naafiri, level 20 Varus.
Yeah, I'm most concerned about the fact that Dplus don't seem to be able to get this Twisted Fate across the map to threaten sides. You know, ShowMaker made a large impact early, but also kind of donated a lot of money, didn't really end up getting as much value as we expected with the lead that they had. And if KT can maintain prio for this Baron, it seems guaranteed to be theirs. Their team fight power is incredible. Their Yunara is full build. They have the wild growth combos we've talked about so much here. And Yunara has, or sorry, the Naafiri has obviously the QSS, so much safety, can kind of guarantee I'm killing a target. And Dplus are on the red side, so it's tougher for them to come over and challenge vision of this Baron pit in the first place. So,
I mean, they do have an Ambessa. So actually, like red side Ambessa can do a decent job getting into that pit. With their ulti and just billion dashes, things like this.
Might be able to steal the Baron, but will you win the fight? You know, the fight seems to be more critical than the Baron itself, although the Baron has obviously bought Dplus a lot of time in this game. I mean, it's only a 1,000 gold lead at 42 minutes. I mean, how close of a game is this in terms of money? KT have so much map control, though, and it's 80 seconds till that Baron spawns. You can see they're not pushing the issue or trying to go into Dplus's base or set up any dives. They're not even using their cooldowns. BD and Cuzz's flashes are still down here, but they just want to maintain vision control, deep vision control around that pit, and utilize this mid inhibitor being down to just guarantee that prio and make sure that they can take this Baron fight on their terms. Because with Baron, at 45 minutes in this game, they should be able to just crack open the base and win the game. So this is their in-game win con, and they're just playing through vision first, and they're playing very carefully.
Yeah. A very cool hat was just built by ShowMaker. We have full build for Smash as well. Might want to replace an item or two here. Maybe the collector needs to go for something else. But otherwise, it's a very scary Aphelios. Not exactly with the greatest weapons right now. Like a Crescendum is perfect. Diving on forward. This is actually pretty fantastic, though, for late game ultis.
Yes.
The Infernum. So
it's great for Baron. If you are able to hit that ultimate in the Baron pit, it is absolutely what you want.
All right, aiming is public enemy #1 as far as DK are concerned.
10 seconds. No vision for Dplus just yet.
All right, BDD pinged out. They know that he's towards the top side.
They want to let this minion wave and BDD's push do the heavy lifting and then move back to the shadows. Dplus have literally no vision. Nothing, none. Not even on the red buff here, and so they're going to have to leapfrog their way through, and that makes them vulnerable targets. It's not the Baron itself, it's the threat of the Baron that pushes Dplus forward, and now Siwoo's caught!
Yeah, he is, but is he actually? As he does make BDD go golden, flashes over the wall here. And that does mean that he will make it to safety. Teleport available, the one that he stole from his quest. And will be able to use that to get back to the rest of his team. But with no flash, this Varus is so much less deadly.
If they could buy space here, they can make it an Elder trade for Baron. Elder's up in 50 seconds. They're more prio control over that side of the map.
Yeah, they're trying to force that sort of trade.
TP in for Siwoo. This game is just never going to stop being tense. ShowMaker taking some poke.
Yeah, he was looking for an angle there. Locked that gold card.
Pillar on
See what
Siwoo.
else he can find. Yeah, Pillar is going to be answered by the Lantern. Lucid going forward is aiming, thinks he's found an angle as he cleanses. Chains of Corruption goes right in, goes perfect, finds another wild growth angle, but he has to flash away. The rest of DK bought the spaces. There is the flashing from ShowMaker, and Lucid takes the Lantern. He stays alive, but the Arc of Judgment comes in from aiming. ShowMaker manages to go into stasis here, but BDD will be able to finish it off, and KT, after the long game has been played, they're looking to take it. The charm connects yet again as BDD is absolutely a robot. He's too good at League of Legends. 4 on the floor. Korea, the last one standing. And KT will remain undefeated in the LCK for 2026.
They'll keep that perfect record. They will take Dplus out again. ShowMaker looks dejected. They had all the momentum in the world after finally beating Genji after so many years.
They got death
inhibitor respawn, but there's 4 dead.
Yeah, they're not respawning this time around as Lucid's still got 16 seconds. Korea's going to try his best, but the Nexus will go down. What an absolute marathon here for both of these teams, but an absolute joy to watch. And in the end, it's KT to continue that winning streak with 5 in a row.